wonder what's really behind the headlines? Or why certain theories just won't go away? Dive into the world of the No Name Podcast, your go-to podcast for unraveling the mysteries of conspiracies, politics, and everyday life. Each week, we blend our opinions, analysis, with some storytelling to uncover the hidden layers of our world. From the latest political intrigue to the most fascinating conspiracy theories, we bring you a balanced dose of skepticism and insight. Whether you're a seasoned critical thinker or just curious about the whispers that swirl around us, we offer a space where your questions are welcome, and your mind can wander freely. Tune in, spark your curiosity, and let's embark on this journey of discovery together. The No Name Podcast, where every episode is a new chance to think critically and see the world through a different lens. Don't miss out. Subscribe today and join the conversation.
Happy Monday morning. This is the No Name Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
What's up, everybody? It's Dustin. Great to be a Gator hater this week.
And it's your boy Trey, as always.
Hi, I'm Gabby.
This week, we are, you know what? It's not even Monday. It's Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
It feels like a Monday.
Feels like a Monday. Oh, my gosh.
To move us 3 days back.
Oh, man. It's like you already went through Monday, and you're like...
The time change probably really messed you up, huh?
Oh, the time change. I love the time. Like, when we finally get off of daylight savings time, it is a good day. Because you want to know why?
Why?
When you're off of daylight savings time, you're officially off of the government adjusted time. That is what daylight savings time is.
Jeremy Trey. How many times do I have to go over this with you guys? As long as you're breathing on this earth, you're never off the government's time.
You're on the government's clock always.
Always.
I called it government adjusted time. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, George Bush, one of those people we have to thank for adjusting the daylight savings time.
Wait, I thought it happened a long time ago. That happened in the 80s?
Well, no. Well, he is the one that made it a shorter time. So we're on government adjusted time for longer. We're on it for 7 months. We're only on the original time for 5 months. He's the one that adjusted it.
Okay, you're talking about George. You're not talking about W.
Yeah, George W.
Oh, you're talking about W.
Wait.
Oh, the mama.
He adjusted it.
When did this happen?
While he was president.
I mean, obviously. But I'm saying, like, you can just do that as a president?
I guess.
It's one of my great things I did.
But that's what I'm saying. You've got your government adjusted time, but,
I got to look into I did not know. I thought it's always been like that.
No.
I can't recall.
So daylight savings time has been there, but he adjusted it. I don't remember. So he was saying that there was too much darkness in the morning or something like that, so he extended it or made it sooner. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the one that happens in like what he trays down. What?
Wait. So one morning he wakes up and said, "The sun is not up yet. I think we need to adjust this daylight savings time because I want to sleep more."
I'm telling you, man.
Bro, like, who decides it? Did he talk to any scientists?
I'll tell you, it's killing me driving to work every morning. I'm going, it's almost 8 o'clock and the sun ain't even out yet. Where's the sun?
Wow.
Your boy should have stopped that when he came in office. He should have said, there's a thing that we need to do to fix it.
Yeah, he had other things to worry about.
If he could have done anything, he could have just made the work day like his work day, 10 to 2.
I would love that.
They come together and
that doesn't
wake up at 10, go to bed at 2.
That doesn't help America. They need us working 90 hours a week. Y'all know how it is. It's about the paper.
Well, happy bonus Wednesday.
Man, I heard you guys had a story for me over the...
Yeah, that's why we have Gabby on today, because last weekend we took a trip over to Hell's Gates.
Oh,
not the real Hell's Gate. We didn't go to hell for real.
I mean, when they had the fire going, it kind of felt real for a minute.
I thought a piece of my face and mustache got...
He said, "Welcome to my inferno."
We didn't even see Satan, did we?
We
didn't see Satan at all.
No, I don't think we saw.
We walked through hell, though.
Yeah.
That was it.
It could have made it a little hotter.
And we saw Jesus.
The reason we even bring this up is because not too long ago, I think it's been about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, we did a New World Order episode.
New World Order.
And as we were literally going through this Hell's Gate, I mean, me and Trey are looking at each other And every once in a while, Gabby would look and say, what's the big deal? Because she kept seeing me and you go, chit-chatting back and forth for a second. And we're like, Dustin needs to be here.
Dustin was right.
I'm like, Dustin would lose his mind right now.
Like, oh my God, Dustin was right.
It would literally be scenes. I'm like, this is for Dustin.
Yeah. I mean, it was...
We wouldn't even invest it anymore. At this point, it was like, we need to get Dustin here.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was probably the first maybe, 5 or 10 minutes were, the rapture.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're talking about the rapture, right? And so then as soon as the rapture happens, you end up in this like scene. And the scene is they're trying to get this woman to take the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was at that point that we were like, ruh-roh.
Right.
What, if she didn't, they executed her?
No, she took it.
Yeah, she took it. But I'm saying if she didn't, what would they do?
Oh, they would kill her.
Yeah, they would have killed her.
Yeah,
Would've killed her.
executed her.
Yeah, I think it was like her husband or something. Was it Gabby? Was it her husband that didn't take it or something? And yeah, and then they ended up
popped him.
killing her. Yeah,
Pop.
yeah, it was
pretty.
it was
Like
it was
really,
intense.
they shot a lot. They killed a lot of people.
A lot of people.
It was
And-
loud too.
Yeah, like it felt like real gunshots.
Yeah, but it was just really it was kind of eerie because we had just done that episode about New World Order.
Yep.
And it was like, whoa, so Rapture happens. Okay, that's out of the Bible, right?
Yep.
Is the New World Order also out of the Bible? Like, oh my gosh. Like,
Well, I think it's because I think they did that because they associate the four horsemen of the apocalypse with the New World Order, but they're not part of the New World Order. I'm saying
No,
they
actually.
come and they end the New World Order.
So I'm teaching a class right now at church about Revelation, called the mystery of the end times.
Yeah.
And I've taught it to kids in a very light, so I've been diving deeper with the adults, obviously. And I'm like, bro, this is one world government, fixed price, one payment scale, one payment system.
Yeah.
It is definitely, the Bible is hitting towards a one world order.
Oh, 100%.
did you say fixed
100%.
price?
No, when I say fixed price, like not fixed prices and like everything will be the same, potentially. But to get anything, you got to get the Amazon chip. You know what I mean?
Because there's a candidate, I'm not going to say any names, that wants to do fixed pricing. Interesting.
Oh my Jesus!
Interesting.
Well, you didn't have to say a name because Trey just said, "Oh my Jesus."
I told you how I feel about the free market.
I find it interesting that we're talking about fixed pricing so close.
Oh my Jesus!
Oh boy.
We will see.
I think when it comes to, in all honesty, in all realistic here, I think when it comes to the New World Order and the end times, I don't think the party really matters.
It never matters. That's my whole thing. I think at this point, I think me and you joke about it, or you joke about it, is we're just voting just to, I'm voting because my ancestors fought for the right to do it. But when, like I was telling one of my friends, literally said to him, I said, we hear so many commercials, so many text messages about, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. I said, they would say anything to get us to vote for them except do the things they said they would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what, to me, I'm like, I'm waiting for either a year and a half or 2 years that we get to vote again for the people that really matter, that they don't talk about. Those are the people I'm more invested in.
Yeah. So what did you take out of the Hell's Gates, Gabby?
Yeah, what was your experience like? Because I need to know if we need to go again next year anyway. What did you? So tell us can you walk us through everything that you experienced, like the things that stuck out to you, and then like what do you take, like on the way home? What are you saying to your father?
Would catch you off guard?
No.
I think she was
I
asleep.
don't know. I don't know what to say.
She was at,
Just throw a couple of yo-nos in there. You
Right.
didn't get
Okay, we'll start here. When you first saw the first scene of them playing like the TV and the lady, what do you think? Like we in that room and then they go, what do you think? What are you feeling? What's happening in that first scene?
Well, I think that I definitely wouldn't want to be like that lady, the one who's ignoring her.
Uh-huh.
Because, like earlier, what my dad said today is that karma, what he believes in, you get what you put in.
Mm-hmm.
So by her ignoring Jesus and God, that she won't, like, get treated the way she wants to be.
Okay.
So,
So what about after that first thing and you walk through all the
I
chaos?
I was terrified. I was like, there's no way. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. This scared me so bad.
Like all the screaming scared
Yeah.
you, or just seeing like the plane down? What scared
The
you?
screaming, it scared me because it felt so
It was intense.
real.
Yeah.
It was, like it was
Felt
actually
really
it was
real.
really really well produced.
Because I thought when the first lady she started screaming, I thought that I was like, "Oh crap, this is real!" Like
Right.
she just went through it, and it was terrifying.
I remember when we went to Tribulation Trail when I was in the youth group at my church, and my younger cousin, when we went, we could hear the explosions going off as we were pulling up on the back of this truck, pulling up to the gates.
Yeah, I knew.
And then we heard those loud sirens going off, like from the Purge.
Yeah.
And my young cousin, he punked out and started crying and said, I'm not going. I'm not going. And my dad had to stay back with him because he
Oh,
wouldn't
wow.
go. And we all went in, and this car blew up, and this man was like walking with his head bleeding and
Yep, same.
trying to pay for all this stuff with money, but your money's worthless in that time period. They're not going to sell you anything.
Right.
And he had tons of money. His money was useless because he didn't have the mark.
So when we went to the next piece, Gabby, where they had
The creepy guy talking to us.
yeah, the creepy guy talking
on
to us.
television.
He almost looked like a Jesus wannabe, maybe.
Yep.
hippie. That's what I thought.
Yeah, hippie. Like it was
Yeah.
kind of strange. So
Wrong with hippies.
He was really creepy. He played that role like,
really too well.
Yeah.
I would hate to see that guy in the grocery store. I'd be like,
and then watch this. What do you see him go beep beep? You're like, oh my god, he paid with
yeah.
his hand.
but when we went into the next scene after he was on the TV, he was actually there in real life.
Right.
Remember?
Yeah.
So, and that was when they were talking about taking the mark of the beast. What was your takeaway from that? Because they were talking about if you don't take the mark of the beast, then they were going to kill you, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So what did you kind of feel about that?
I felt like that. I don't. What's it called? I don't want to believe them, and I'd rather.
Would you take the mark? Okay, like would you take the mark, or would you die for it? Like would you die for not taking the mark?
I'd rather die because I know that I'd be going to heaven because I know it's doing the right thing, following God and Jesus.
Did you understand any of that before last Saturday?
No, I don't. I
Hey.
still.
Okay,
I
hey,
still.
I mean,
kinda,
that's
He did
no,
something good.
that's literally
I still kind
good.
of don't get the mark of the beast.
Basically, it's saying that you denounce Jesus.
Like
So
you don't follow him.
right, like I'm not going. Like Jesus isn't real. You know,
He's like
the New World
witch.
Order is the Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically saying I serve the government,
But the
not
government
Jesus.
right now, there's no way I'm going with the government when the rapture comes.
I think that's all of us. None of us wants to go.
I mean,
I
you're
would
not
go-
wrong at all.
if we would do a draft right now, I would be in jail because I'm not going either. Like I'm not fighting either.
I'd rather get decapitated like that lady.
So,
Oh, snap.
So they did that with the guy that you said he looked like Jesus. They did that to portray the Antichrist.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Speaks to
exactly.
The Antichrist in the Bible, how he will deceive many people and say, I am the second coming of Christ. I am Jesus.
Well, the second coming of
follow
Christ
me.
was basically the government.
Yeah. So they're
Yeah.
going to say, follow me. But they put that in there as the image.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Mhm.
if you read Revelation, there are three figures that we see. It's called the unholy Trinity, and you get this. I'm telling you, I've been in Revelation too much, but it's a really good book. I might start preaching from it a lot more because there's some good stuff in there. I was like, man, this is just good teaching. And it's Revelation 12 through like 14ish because letters don't really have chapters. And in it, the unholy Trinity is the dragon, aka your boy Satan.
Not my boy.
Hey, I mean, no one's boy in here. All right, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Just saying.
Okay.
Just throwing it
And
out
then
there.
you have
in the atmosphere.
the sea beast. The sea beast. So you got the dragon. Then you have the sea beast. The sea beast is
Leviathan.
the Antichrist representation. And then so of course if you lay out the Trinity, you got God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, in no particular order, by the way. And then you have Satan. So Satan will align with God. The Antichrist, obvious, aligns with Christ. And then the land beast, which is aka a false prophet, will align with the Holy Spirit. And the false prophet will be able to do miracles. So in Hell's Gate, I can't tell if they don't never bring that one up.
Yeah.
They never bring up that in the tribulation period, there will be another person or being, or maybe a group, I don't know, that can do miracles, and they will be doing, I'm putting this in air quotes, good things. So it's to me, it's be real confusing for believers because in the class, what we talked about, and y'all tell me, and Gabby, you tell me what you think about this. I don't believe the mark of the beast, which means, and the Bible does say if you get the mark of the beast, you're like your chances of going to heaven are like 0% at that point. Like you have committed yourself to the devil.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I don't think that if Satan did what he did to Eve, the trick will be the same. Is
Right.
I'm not going to make it so obvious.
It's not a physical mark.
Yeah.
It's a mark on your soul.
And-
You
Yeah.
have that mark on your soul, then
I'll even go further than that. It's not, if it is a mark, like something like a chip or, but I mean, it will be, I think a lot of Christians, and the Bible kind of alludes to this, will take the mark, and I'm putting air quotes, out of convenience. So for instance, we love these things, these cell phones. Apple didn't convince us to do facial recognition. It was convenience. I could remember the passcode. So I just scan my face and go, right? And then, at first it was the fingerprints, and I think it'll be something out of convenience. Now I'm gonna ask you a question, Gabby. If you're, let's say it's some different opinions on the tribulation, all right? Some people believe that all the Christians will be raptured up prior to. Some people believe after the tribulation they get raptured. If you believe what I believe is there is no tribulation, you're just gonna go through it. And I can explain that later. Gabby, we hear it's end times and they have your dad lined up, they have your brothers lined up, your mom lined up, and they say, hey, if you don't take the mark of the beast, we're gonna kill them. Are you letting them die? I know how your dad feels about this, so I'm not even gonna ask Jeremy. We already yeah. But what would you do? They got the guns to their head and everything.
I don't want to sound selfish, but I let them die.
Boy, you are your daughter's child. What? You're raising her right, Jeremy.
I'm just saying. I mean, because after they kill me, which I would probably be the first one to go, after they kill me, they're going to ask them the same thing.
They're probably real evil to let you die last. If they really evil, they let you watch your family die as a man. That sucks because there's nothing you can do to stop it.
I mean, maybe.
That's what I would do.
Maybe, but, I would hope that...
When the rapture comes, I'm sure they're going to get the psycho people who don't really care about their feelings, and they're just going to, here's your free day on the playground. Pew, pew, pew.
Hey, I mean, you never know. But
that could be it.
well, they know they're going to get them either way. So
yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, you have to stand firm on your faith. And, if you were the first one to go, I would hope that the rest of your family would follow suit with what you did.
Yeah.
And that's what I would be hoping for me.
Well, because if I let my family die, I know they're going to kill me because I'm continuing to follow Christ.
There you go together.
Exactly.
I like that.
That's good.
Stay that way, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you transform into a teenager. Please stay that way. I would say you got it solid right now, but I don't know between 13 and 16. Well, I swear, Jesus becomes secondary a little bit. But that's. I think I always tell people. I told my wife this a day before we got married. I said, "Look, if you ever get between me and God, I will divorce you." I said, "I'm here to serve Him. I'm His servant, and you're here to help me and me to help you grow into that. We're partners that's going to walk into our purpose with God." And the people was like, "That's mean. What if if your wife get on drugs?" I'm going to do what God called me to do as far as my marriage, support her, help her. But I felt like if it was taking me away from my purpose in Christ, same thing with my daughter. I love my daughter, but nothing is going to get me to stop worshiping God and serving Jesus. So to your point, people always ask, they had a gun in their head, which I don't care. I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to die for Jesus.
Exactly. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not scared.
At least you don't have to sit here in the New World Order.
Come on now. Come on.
I mean, literally, that's what I got out of that, watching that. And if you had asked me that, which I think you asked me that during the New World Order about taking the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
And it really kind of hit me hard because I said during that episode that I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And when we were sitting in Hell's Gate, it further made me realize that really what better way to go out than standing firm in your faith.
Boy, I felt good.
And just rolling out, because even if that goes to your family too, because they're going to do the same thing. You will literally all be together again within minutes in the right place, instead of trying to make your life under a new world order on earth. And who wants to do that?
Right.
I mean, we've all sat here and preached about that. Like, who in the heck wants to go through anything worse than what we're already going through on a day-to-day basis? I mean, could you?
The only way I would, and this is crazy, if that's I believed in the rapture, I would literally ask God, if he guys said, "Hey Trey, you're gonna stay behind because I need you to convey the gospel to," like the guy was doing in Hell's Gate.
Yeah.
I need you to do that, but you're gonna die. Terrible. I was like, I mean, are you telling me, or is this an option? I mean,
he didn't die terrible.
But I don't think you die that quick.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that was. Me and Jeremy had a little fun with the scene, okay? So Jeremy was like, they captured this guy who's spreading the gospel. And first of all, he did a terrible job of he should have had some kind of security or something with him.
He's like in an attic or
by
something.
himself, like he by himself, and he was recording and didn't even lock the door, it seems like. I'm like, bro, you just wanted to get caught. And then so they bring
show. He's supposed to get caught.
I mean, but they could have made it a little bit more dramatic. The graphics and stuff on this was remarkable, by the way. And so when the guy comes in, they bring him to the concentration camp we're in, and the wife is there, and Jeremy and they're arguing, and she's like, "I took the beef to save our children, so where are our children?" And they're arguing,
Oh, no.
and he's like, "I didn't take it, I would never take it." And then they're asking. Jeremy said she should kill him. She should kill him.
Yeah.
It would be more dramatic. I was like, you know what, Jeremy, that would send this thing over the top. That would be amazing. And of course she doesn't, but that would have, because she was really angry with him.
Yeah.
And I think that would have, because that shows that what Jesus says, I have not come to unify families, but to put, son against father. And I was like, bro, that's the break.
It would have took it to a whole nother level.
And then it would have really made people feel uncomfortable.
It would have been more humane too, really.
If my kids were gone in the rapture or whatever,
Mhm.
I wouldn't care because I know that they were in a better place.
Yeah.
Well, I think the point of this story was she didn't know
No.
the kids had been taken in the rapture because I don't think she was firm enough on her faith to
Right.
see
At
what
all.
was
She didn't
going
have
on.
one. She didn't have one.
Because she ended up taking the mark. So
Yeah.
she was fine, which is why I said they should have told her kill him.
Yeah.
And then she should have done it, and then that would have really showed how the New World Order is going to be should we get there.
Yep.
Because that right there, that would have sent it over the top, because that's how the New World Order would be. Is like, no, if you are for me,
Yep.
then you will take him out for not standing with me, which is you now, because you took the mark. So that's where I was coming from, where I'm like, they should have her kill him.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to write a tip in there. I should have put that on the comments at the end.
They do make adjustments based on he said that they do.
So, Gabby, one thing that I want to tell you is, and I'm addressing it to you because they both already know this. I don't have to tell them. You know how intense that was? How intense it was? The whole thing that you were in?
It was
You saw?
crazy.
Very intense, right?
Yeah.
That's watered down. That's a watered down version of what it's really going to be like. So what it's really going to be like is way worse than what you saw.
Well, this terrified me to Jesus, and definitely.
And I said that, didn't I? I
So
said
some
that.
some of the deaths that y'all are referencing in there, some of the deaths that for the people who don't take the mark are going to be way worse
Absolutely.
than what's on there.
Absolutely.
It's just like in the Bible. Who was it, Peter, or that was sacrificed upside down?
Yeah, Peter.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's probably going to be several of those.
He wanted to be that way,
There are
but
going to be several of them crucified upside down as mockery.
or beheaded or
Yeah.
tortured to death.
Yeah, we saw the beheading. It was pretty cool. They had like the whole head roll out of the thing, the whole nine. Like,
This is a
pretty
this is a period of time where Satan and Lucifer and his followers are going to relish on the earth
Yeah.
because they get to run free and wild and do as they please, because they cannot physically hurt they cannot physically hurt the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
He hates him. He despises him. So his way of hurting the Lord is, I'm going to take as many of your children with me as I can,
Yeah, taking
and take
people.
lead as many of them away from you as I can. So that's what this whole period is to do.
Because he's trying to gain power.
He is going to do that,
that's right.
and God's going to see through this time period who's really going to follow me.
Can I throw you a curveball?
Who's really my followers?
Why, this is such a good conversation.
No. I don't think, because Jeremy. I mean, Dustin said something. I don't think Satan hates God. I just.
he
think,
was jealous of him.
I think
because he
it's-
wanted to be like him.
I think it's more so of a.
He wanted power.
Yeah, it's like I want to be you so bad.
That's why I say he hates him. He knows he'll never get there.
See, and I would say is, okay, think about it like this. You ever see? It's probably not a good analogy, but I would say it. You ever see those people who like, okay, if it's me and you in the woods and the bear's chasing us, I don't have to outrun the bear.
I got to
I just gotta outrun you.
Right.
And that's kind of how I think about it. Satan is like, I know I can't never get back there, but I can trip as many folks up to get to the bear.
Well, it's a game to see who can get the biggest following.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know I can't hurt
Yeah.
you, but I know a way that I can hurt you is I can take as many of your children.
And I think it's just the like I was saying, a dig.
Yeah.
And I think that's the set. I think a lot of people like I'm more of a millennial view person, which means we're already in some type of tribulation. Like I don't think it's 7 years, and that kind of explains the bad that's already happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to believe that at some point God is like looking for the people, or he knows the people rather. He's not looking, but he is looking for the people who's going to be like that, who's going to be like us. Like, I'm gonna stand on this. We have our different opinions, and we doing a show right now that I'm sure that people disagree with everything that we talk about most days. But it's we don't care about that. We care about one thing when it comes down to Jesus. It's about Jesus. Yeah. And a lot of people don't. They stop there. And similar, so a part of the scene that I wanted to ask Gabby about is you come and go through this whole experience, and they sent you in. You're like in heaven's judgment room, which they could have done better with.
They could have done way better with
heaven.
that.
Heaven did not look.
Jesus
appeasing.
Looked terrible.
I mean, and he messed up on his lines. And he was so mad. He messed up. He rolled his eyes like, I messed up. Like, bro, we didn't know.
I don't think that's Christ-like, really.
Because you messed up on your lines, Jesus. But they could have dogged heaven up. Out of everything, that was like the lowest production, which most, like I said, no one cares about heaven. They just care about hell. But all that being said, I should have put that in my notes too. Dang it. But they could
have did it outside because like heaven's gates, like they could have like stands and then gates, and then you
like
have
that
to
room we walked into.
You have to walk into a trail, and then like God or Jesus, he's on his way better throne than they had,
right?
And like on a cloud or something, and then there's angels surrounding.
I think that we should have put that on the card. I'm gonna write them. Say, hey, y'all got to be better with heaven.
A couple more.
But they was doing something crazy. Did y'all feel that heat?
Yeah, and then you could so it looks like all gracious, like you're focusing on God, and because it's big enough, and there's big enough to only see heaven, and then you have to turn, and then you could see the hillside where it's bigger,
they've got this huge flames coming up and everything.
Like I'm talking about when they was throwing people in there, and then like when they throw them, it will go, and you can.
Yeah, but it wasn't big enough because I could still see the people getting out because.
Oh dang it! They just production issues.
Dang.
Because the when they were walking in, the fire was in the room at the end of the room.
But you can see.
And then when they walk in, they turn up the fire, and then they turn the fire down at the back, and then they like crawl out or something out of this hole. I could see it because I could see them pushing them down.
Yeah, but you got the gist of what they were trying to accomplish.
That guy was like, "Sell it to me. I want to see them die."
I don't want to see them die.
I want to see them go directly in the cage from the last room we walked through.
Yeah, they should at least be bigger.
I got a question for you.
For me?
Yeah. So like when people die, all right, do you personally believe if someone dies and they're saved, do they die and they go straight to heaven? Or do they die and go to paradise? And then if someone who is not, do they die and are they going to go to hell for all eternity, forever and ever and ever? Or are they going to go into the lake of fire? Oh, Jesus Christ.
We've had this a debate about purgatory.
From my understanding, well, it's not really purgatory. From my understanding, if you were to die now, you're not going to go to heaven immediately. You're going to go to paradise. After Judgment Day, that's when you'll ascend into heaven and you'll live forever with your Father. As if someone who's not, if they were to die today and they go to hell, they will go to hell until the day of judgment. At that point, you'll be cast in the lake of fire with Lucifer and his followers for all eternity. Hell is your resting place until that time, where you will burn until the day of judgment.
So I have a theory more so for the believers, but I think it will align more with your hell theory as well. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't tell people this when I go to funerals. I'm like, they're not going to heaven right now.
Right.
So everybody relax. Don't say that. But I tend to believe in just looking at scripture, and it's some debate on this. So just want everybody to say relax before you just call Jeremy and send them nasty emails.
Goes to all of us now.
I'm blocking it. So, but I tend to believe that when we die, we sit into the grave until he calls us home, until he comes back. And the reason I believe that is I believe in ghosts. So I believe that kind of explains sometimes when people see their loved ones and they experience them because they just kind of resting, and then maybe they, their soul is waiting, right? So your soul is waiting, and some people are just uneasily resting. Some people are like, okay, I'm good, and they kind of wait until Jesus comes back. But then to that same narrative, I would say, I think paradise or purgatory, whatever you want to call it, like not the same thing, but like if you want to say, hey, we wait in paradise, okay, fine. If you say, hey, we wait in purgatory until that day of lake of fire damnation, fine. I mean, and then go to heaven. I would say that's the same thing. You know, we just everybody's waiting in a space.
The only reason I said that, Jeremy, was I don't really call it purgatory is because I would almost call where we're at now purgatory.
Some people say that. There is a hell debate.
The definition of purgatory is a place between heaven and hell. Or don't we live in purgatory?
So there is a debate that some people believe that we're in hell right now. Just, I mean, we joke about the government. We joke about, but we do feel issues. We see murders. We see rapes. We see some pretty heinous stuff,
right?
You know, for people. And some people say this is hell on earth. And I mean, that's why I don't
think they're wrong right now.
I think
Feels
social media is a way of Satan trying to get to us, trying to follow him.
Yeah, I think it's one of the ways. I think it's
y'all really got to watch the show Evil. Oh my god,
I've watched some of it. I watched a few.
It is so it hits on all of these.
It.
Yeah. I mean, that's
well, you know, South Park did an episode about this.
Of course, he's gonna bring up South Park.
I want to throw that out there. They did a Dead Celebrities episode where they all got on a plane and they were waiting for Michael Jackson to officially die. It was that year that like Billy Mays died, Michael Jackson died, like all these, you know, like the, you know, some of the heavy hitters, you know, died, and they were waiting on Michael Jackson to accept the fact that he had died before they could officially all go to hell. So it was. They're
jeez Louise. You gotta love South Park.
I mean, sometimes they hit it on the head, you know. I mean, just sometimes they just
okay. So just for sheer jokes, what do you think Michael Jackson went? Now, if we look at it, don't look at the documentary. Just looking at him. Overall.
I didn't see the doc. Was there a documentary?
Oh man,
I need to see a documentary because
they got a documentary about Michael Jackson.
I still don't think he's dead.
He's not. There's no way.
I think
that you say there's no way
because it said that he die in 2006?
I think it was 9.
Yeah, because I looked at his Apple Music, and there's like something from 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But they said he had made, it's like Tupac. They said he made so many songs.
He ain't dead either.
What about Prince? You think Prince dead?
Maybe now, but he wasn't when they said he was. So my theory about Michael Jackson,
you still have to be alive to like be able to give consent to publish.
I mean, he's dead by now, just on age, but
not necessarily.
I mean, let me tell you, okay. So theory,
throw it out.
Theory says that you know, he was about to come into some pretty serious charges.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay.
For, you know, the pedophile stuff.
Right.
Okay. And then all of a sudden he just mysteriously dies from getting drugged by the guy in his sleep. Well, what a peaceful way to die for somebody that so many people looked up to and the truth never comes out. Now you're telling me there's not something that sounds just a little fishy about that.
One of his, I think it was something that came on my Alexa. One of his songs, and after he had said something, because I had no idea that he was a pedophile, I just thought he died and he faked it.
Allegedly.
I just thought
we'll never know the truth because
the king of pop
I thought that he just died and faked it.
Okay.
And so I didn't know that he was a pedophile, and then
allegedly
the
king of pop.
Whatever. Anyways. One of his songs, it said there's not enough kids in the street to eat. Something like that. I heard him. He said something like...
Whoa, Gabby, you're diving deep into something here.
But it caught my attention.
What song is this?
It's Thriller. It caught my attention.
Let me look at the lyrics. You're not gonna ruin Thriller for me today, Gabby.
I must have heard it wrong because
you may have not heard it wrong.
Because
I'm about to look this up.
Because his theory was fresh.
Something I almost said. I had to catch
my dad's theory was fresh in my brain after what he just said, and so then I wasn't listening. But I guess it caught my attention because when he came on, I was thinking about what he said, and then it said something that there's not enough kids in the street or something like that.
Now, just for a disclaimer, I don't tell my kids what to believe. Sometimes I will throw out my theories. A lot of times they say, "Dad, you're crazy."
Secretly manipulating us.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Gabby has been talking.
Oh my gosh.
She just threw you on it and ran over you.
Gabby's been talking to somebody. That's a major phrase.
Believe it, though. I've grown up to believe it. I've definitely grown up to believe it, though.
I mean, I tell you guys to come up with I tell you to see all sides of the story and then come up with your own theory, and that's it. I mean,
you can't just
that's
look
what I
one
believe.
way and not look the other way, because that's
Exactly.
what I do.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
I mean, I'm just saying, this is what I believe, and you can believe how you want. Now, I will tell you, I do tell my kids, you know, for certain people, I'm like, that person ain't going to have a song in my house, or that person ain't going to have any airwaves in my house.
Fair.
And that I will say. But as far as, you know, some of my outlandish theories, I'm like, hey, you know,
You can believe it or you don't.
think what you want.
I will say what you just said goes with a post that I shared on our Facebook page today. It said something about those who say they don't believe in aliens are the same people that dip a tablespoon in the ocean and say there's no sharks in here because they can't fit into my spoon.
You know, you never know.
I just want you to know, Gabby, it's nothing about eating kids and lyrics. I want you to, so you
Are
may,
you sure it was
So
the Thriller
is-
song, or you
Yeah,
or was it a different
Yeah,
one?
it's something about there's not enough kids, or there's kids in the street, or something.
now
like
it
that.
could be a subliminal message in a song that only Gabby can hear.
Hey,
So that
Yeah,
it could be, and so I gotta go. Well, I'm too old now. It's like I gotta wait for Annalena to come of age to understand music. But that's, to me, I think overall, if we're looking at it, and we're just looking at celebrities, and we're looking at people who don't know the truth about Jesus, I think for us, it will always be a mission of the Christians, not to Bible thump, but just to tell people, hey, like, dude, this is, even if you don't believe, you got to look at the writing on the wall. That's all we're saying. Like you said, I think the biggest thing for our podcast is, like you just said, we're not saying you got to believe us,
Right.
but you got to at least look at the writing. Like if you know, if it's a brown package of smelly stuff on your front lawn, I'm not telling you it's doo-doo, but I mean, you should at least go check it out. But it could be doo-doo.
you never know.
You never know. It could be just a bag of Snickers.
But so back to Hell's Gate. So after they started taking the people who had accepted the mark of the beast and sending them to hell, basically, you know, during Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
What was your take on that piece of it? Not the production side, but the message side.
Yeah, those people going to hell.
Oh, well, because like that one guy where he was giving his money to everybody, he thought he was doing right.
So they had a guy that thought that
That's
he could
what
buy his way out.
Yeah,
of
I was
going to
thinking that I may not, like before Hell's Gates, I was thinking, well, I'm doing right stuff, at least in my mind. And like, I'm doing right stuff, but I'm out. It's hard to explain.
No, you said right. Like,
Well, I mean, I'll tell on you.
The way I want to say it, or what I'm saying, is not what I'm thinking in my head. Because like, I'm thinking that I'm doing stuff right. Like I'm like
Well, let me see if
being
you.
nice to.
Let me
being
see if
nice
I.
to people.
Let me see if
sharing
you
love.
agree with what I'm about to say, because she was waking me up like every 10 minutes for
after it.
for
Yeah.
like an hour, like after that. And so she's like, Dad, I have another question. I'm like, you know, and this is Saturday night, you know, I'm like, I gotta get
It's
up.
like
Get up-
12.
I gotta
it's
get up at
12
like
in the
6
morning.
in the morning, you know,
Uh-huh.
like, oh man. But so, and Amanda's like, you gotta answer the question. I'm like, okay. So, but one of her questions, and I think kind of what she's talking about, or maybe it was the next morning when we were on our way to church that you were
I
talking
was
to me about
feeling
this.
like I wasn't doing good.
She's
enough,
like, what? She's like, I feel like I'm doing good,
but I'm not.
but I
doing
feel like
good
I'm not
enough.
doing good enough. She's like, how do I get to heaven because I still do wrong?
Mm.
And that was like a pretty big thing for her, because I was trying to explain to her, I'm like, well, it's what's in your heart that matters, you know, because we're all people. We're going to screw up. Like, we're not Jesus. You know, we try to be like Jesus, but we'll never be Jesus. We'll never be perfect. You know, when you tell a lie, or you know, creep something, or you whatever, at the end of the day, as long as you know that what you did is wrong and you ask for repentance and you do the right thing after that, then you're doing the right thing and you will get to heaven that way. Because Jesus never expected you to be perfect. He expected you to have faith in the process.
But I'm
you know?
trying, but it's just continuing.
I'm gonna tell
just
you,
continuing to lie and lie
you'll get better at it.
and lie.
I mean, not better at lying.
Oh, I was about to say, whoa.
Not better at lying. So I'm gonna tell you what my youth pastor told me, and I think it's true. It's two things. I'm gonna tell you. First thing, one may be a little bit crazy for me to say, but I tell kids this all the time. First of all, God does not require you to stop sinning. He requires you to sin less. So if you start, let's say you 10 lies a day, in your relationship with Christ, it should at least get to 5, 2, 3. It's eventually 0. You may go back and forth a little bit for a little minute because it's a struggle, but eventually, and I really do mean this, God's going to say to you, choose me or else. And then you're going to be like, you're going to have a choice. Just like he's done with me in my life. Pretty sure he's working on Jeremy doing some things Jeremy used to do when he was 12 that he doesn't do now, vice versa. We get better at living for Jesus as we go. So God doesn't require you to stop sinning. He requires you to sin less. And then over time, you'll get to a point where you're probably sinning like twice a day, maybe. And then, so to answer your question, you said, like, then how can I ever get good enough? You will never be good enough. Watch this. I know that sounds terrible. But you don't have to be, because Christ was your lamb. That is the beautiful thing about it is like when I lead people to Jesus, I say, what have you done to earn heaven?
Yeah, but nothing. I could be in a bad state of lying or just sinning a lot and being rude and not really being like what I was made to be.
No, and that's good.
And God knows
then
that.
next thing you know, I'm dead.
But see, First Peter says this: love covers a multitude of sins. Whose love? Jesus's blood, his blood for you. So once you say, Jesus, I believe in you, it doesn't mean that somehow you magically stop sinning. Trust me, we would all love that. Yeah. But what it says,
that's not what I'm saying. It's like what's it called? The confronting day or whatever. I forgot what it's called. But like when after we're done waiting and then Jesus calls us and we go to hell or we go to heaven.
Once again, you didn't do anything. Once you put your faith in Jesus. And let's say we were back in front of Jesus again at Hell's Gate. You're covered by his blood, and it says that your sins are now washed away and you're white as snow. Even the sin, watch this, the future sins, and your past sins. It doesn't mean that, and then doesn't mean like, okay, I'm just going to sin because I know I'm covered. Because if you love him, you're not going to do that. You're going to say, I'm going to try to get better. Watch this, I'm going to try my best, and God, where I'm weak at, you feeling that. Because Gabby, I'm 36 years old, and I would love to tell you that I stopped lying. But it's sometimes like when my boss said, hey, you got a meeting and I got to go pick my daughter up. Oh yeah. Like, I have a late lunch. I haven't even ate lunch, but I can't tell like I can't say I missed this meeting. Or like, for instance, it's some mornings I wake up and I'm just late for work. Like just late. I'm like, yeah, my daughter kept me up a little bit longer. Why? And I'm like, God, I'm sorry, but I can't just say I'm being a lazy bum. I'm just dragging the day. Sometimes I do say that. And I say, God, I'm sorry for this white lie. That's what you try to justify it. And I repent and say, God, help me with this. These little lies, like they don't do nothing, but they just tell the truth. So then what I started to do is I'm just having a bad morning. Yeah, that's what it is. And then people say, me too. Oh shoot, I progress. Now I don't lie. Well, I try not to lie at all. I try to be I'm probably one of the honest people. You can ask my wife that you'll meet, but it took me time to get there. Now, if we going back to 1944 or they taking Jews and they putting them in concentration camps, and I got Jews in my attic or I'm hiding them. That's not, and God says you have to choose human or life over the lie. So I'm saving somebody's life. I'm going to lie so I can save people. You see what I'm saying? Like, and God understands that. He's not.
So like lying justifies. It can like it's help, but not helping at the same time.
Yeah, because the two greatest commandments is love God with all your heart and then love your neighbor like yourself. If you're honoring those two commandments and you had to tell a lie, then God sees it like, no, you're honoring your neighbor. Right. And I understand, like he's not like God is like, oh, you're lying, you're going to hell. He's not like that. He understands, and we tend to think that God doesn't. No, he's very more in depth than we are. And I think to your point, don't worry about sinning. When I say don't worry about it, it means if you focus more on not sinning, then you're not going to focus more on loving Christ. Focus on loving Christ, and then the more you love Him, the less you'll sin. Period.
That's good.
And at the end of the day, you're not worthy. You're not worthy of Him, but He loves you anyway. That's great. Because so He created you and you're His child. He loves you unconditionally. No matter what you do, He loves you. And He knows just from you saying that I'm not doing enough. He knows, and He feels the conviction on your heart where you already know, hey, I'm not doing enough or I'm doing wrong. He knows that, and He knows you're sorry for that, and He forgives you for that because He loves you.
That's beautiful too, Gabby. Keep that spirit. Keep the I'm not doing enough spirit. And watch how great your Christian life comes.
That's right.
Is when you start saying, I've arrived. Oh, Jesus.
I'm doing everything right.
Like the rich man, right? The rich man comes to Jesus. He said, I don't sin. I'm like, what? That is bold. And Jesus said, it'd be better for you to, it's easier for him to get through the eye of the needle than him to get to heaven. Like, he's not even going to get to heaven. Yeah. That's how crazy it is. So stay humble. This is the humbling spirit.
Humble is really where it's at. Yeah. I mean, just saying that I'm a human being and I'm going to screw up. And at the end of the day, we just gonna keep cooking. I mean, you know,
Yep.
we're gonna keep cooking for Jesus. That's what it all boils down to.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Cooking for Jesus.
What does that mean? Let me show you.
That's right. I'm about to make this smash burger.
Like from Duck Dynasty. Now we're cooking with peanut oil.
But
Awesome.
yeah, I appreciate everybody listening. This was our experience at Hell's Gate and kind of some of the aftermath that, you know, it was a really good experience, even for me as an adult, you know, that's, you know, I would say I'm pretty steadfast in my beliefs and everything, but it still kind of hit me a little bit with some of the stuff, you know, even as a much older adult than everybody else here. But
Oh my god. Barely.
Hey, I love
Barely.
it. I love it that whenever y'all saw that, you were like,
Dustin, yeah, I mean,
When does it
Dustin is
close?
right.
I don't know when it closes. If it's not closed, we may have to go
I know
again.
it goes into November though.
Dustin
Okay.
was right.
Yeah,
We
well,
gotta get Destiny. We gotta get Destiny.
yeah. If it's not closed,
I've been to tribulation.
No, it's
it's
not
different.
the
It's
same.
different.
It's-
It's different. It's
It sounds very similar.
You know,
to
it's
what I
similar
went
in the gist that it's, you know, tribulation in the end times, but the experience is way like intense.
yeah, it's better, honestly. But yeah, if you have a chance to go, you should go.
Dawsonville, Georgia.
Dawsonville, Georgia.
through. Awesome. Billy.
Make sure to get you some Jesus chicken before you go.
There we go. That would be an awesome sponsor.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. If you're listening, Chick-fil-A, we would love a sponsorship.
Oh, give us the sponsorship. You
I
got the
would.
Jesus chicken here because it's definitely where it's at. But yeah, we appreciate everybody for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Everybody else good?
I want a sponsorship from Dansk Majad for your Viking blood
What is it? We can't have both. We can't have Jesus chicken
and mead.
I mean,
Jesus turned water to wine, son.
I was gonna say, I mean, you know, communion. You have the chicken,
Maybe we can convince them.
and you have the
Again, Dansk Majad Viking blood.
Viking blood.
oh gosh.
Viking blood.
Well, thanks again, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, truth's out there. Read between the lines.
Peace.
Bye.